part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 disassembly of a Ruger 1022, click right here. It'll show you how to take it down and get to this step. Now we've already cleared our rifle. If I didn't mention so already, we're doing all this stuff on a towel so our chemicals don't get through to our nice table below. Now, wearing rubber gloves because we're dealing with harsh chemicals. I wear glasses, but I go ahead and wear protective glasses. I get a little more protection, and also if the stuff splatters on my glasses, I won't be in a world of hurt. These are only maybe like 10 bucks or so. Now, as far as what I use, there's different ways of going about it. This is just what I've come up with. You can use other ways, but I'll just show you the way I do it. I use FP10 in combination with Hoppe's 9, as well as Valistol. Use those three. They seem to work pretty well, and they're given applications. Use just standard good old Q-tips, gun patches, Hoppe's 22 caliber. These little, I guess, cotton type little squares. At the end, we're going to use a silicone cloth. You can also use Rusty's rags. Those seem to be popular on YouTube here. And then it's your standard bulk pack cotton patches. That's just for overall cleaning with Valistol and whatnot. I have these little picks picked up from CountyCom. They're Norton's UCS, but you know, a toothbrush or old dental picks would work. I like needle nose pliers. You'll see why in a minute. They help, you know, getting your fingers in here in the little chamber area. Biggest, most important thing you can buy is going to be a bore guide. This one I picked up from Midway USA. I can't remember the brand, but give you an idea what it looks like. And this will help guide your rod through the barrel and not mess up your rifling as much. And finally, we have our cleaning rod with our mount at the end. I forget what these things are called, but what we have, this one is a Dewey, and I like about it, it's on a bearing system, so as you're pulling it through, it can rotate while you're still pulling it. Gives it a better cleaning ability. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to put our bore guide through there. Then we're going to take our cleaning rod and just push it through. And now you should see it here in the action. So what I do is I rotate my cleaning rod so that's pointing, so you can actually put a patch straight down into it. And now you'll notice there's a little diagonal piece sticking down here below. Not sure how well you can see that. Right about there. You can see it sticking right there. So I'm going to use my needle nose pliers and use that to pull it through so my patch is sitting halfway through. And then now we're good to go. We're ready to pull it through. So what we're going to do is use some Hoppe's number 9. Open that up. Take one of our Q-tips. And whoops, I just dropped it in there. So mistakes happen. This is going to work really well. And just go ahead and give a little dab on either side of that patch. And go ahead and pull it through. Slowly, no hurry, just kind of gradually pull it through. There you have it. Let's take a quick look at that real quick. You can see that's extremely dirty. Now this is only from about 150 rounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that process. Some people like to let it soak 2 or 3 minutes. I just go ahead and pull it right through. But go ahead and do that process about 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to waste your time doing that. And what we're going to do is on our final run through, we're going to put a patch of Valistol. Now what I do to make up for it, some people say run a wet patch through, then a dry patch, then wet patch, dry patch. I personally just keep running wet patches through until I'm done. I'll put one dry patch, and then my last one, like I said, I'll do Valistol. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and do that, cut the camera off, and bring you back up to speed. There's a couple things I need to mention. If you're going to be using a brush, that's fine. That might help you go a little bit quicker. If you really got some crud in there, I mean, personally, I think if you're running patches through after you're done shooting it, you won't run into problems, even if you're shooting 500-600 rounds through it. So that's just the way I do it. I don't need that. Yeah, it's softer than the steel in there, but it's still going to be lightly abrasive compared to the ammonia that you're using in your solvents. Another thing is how often should you, how do you know when you're done? Well, that was the first patch you ran through, or one of these was where you can see there's kind of lines of debris or powder in there, and this is the last patch I ran through. You can see really there's nothing to it. You don't see anything on there. And the last couple ones I ran through with ballistol, you'll see some powder on the very, very edges. That's just from the chamber. There's no real lines that you see from the pulling it through. And one more thing, what we're doing is we're running all the patches from the chamber out towards the end of the rifling. And what that does is that keeps the crud going in the same direction. It's just a little trick I picked up somewhere. Don't know who to give credit to, but that's the way I do it. All right, now we're going to clean the chamber. And the main thing you want to do is right around here where the bullets enter the chamber. There's going to be a lot of powder and debris in this area. Clean that out. Also where your rails are going to be sliding. You can see I actually put some grease on there. I haven't made up my mind if I like that or just FP10, but one of the two. And we're going to use a combination of just, initially getting the crud out with one of these picks. We're going to use these patches with some Hoppe's number 9 on it, running through there, and we're going to finish up with some ballistol. The reason why I like ballistol is it's a good rust preventer, and the reason why I like FP10 is it's a good lubricant. And Hoppe's number 9 is just a standard cleaner. So using those combinations in areas that need to be done. For here, like I said, we're mainly just worried about rust protection, and that little bit we can put grease or FP10 on it. So I just kind of dunked that in the Hoppe's number 9 a little bit. Really getting this a good cleaning because it hasn't been deeply cleaned in a while. I just do quick cleans on it. And really get in all those crevices. Use this little pick. Help kind of push the cloth in those tight corners. And you can see right away there's a lot of powder you don't really see in there. And all in all, this is actually still fairly clean because what I do is I just leave this on the rifle. I don't go ahead and take all this out, and I won't clean this area. I'll just pull the bolt back, kind of give it a quick brushing in there, and that's about it. And so I'll do this about once a season, where I totally disassemble it. And you might want to do this every time. I'm just lazy like that. I have better things to do than clean my rifles, but I will clean them where it matters, where I think it matters. Now, what we're going to do for our spring, it's a little tricky. The main thing is just try to keep the clean parts clean, the dirty parts dirty. Not take a dirty part and then start rubbing around the spring. But for the most part, I just kind of wipe this down, push it down a little bit. Kind of get some of that crud there at the end. Clean what I can off the spring. That's about all you can do. Now we're just cleaning it up right now. We're not putting any chemicals on. We're just using a little bit of Hoppe's 9 that was on there. That looks like it'll do it. Now the last thing you might want to clean, other than our magazines and the bolt, the trigger group. I want to kind of offer a casual warning. If you spray any kind of cleaner or lubricant in there, as I mistakenly put Rem oil when I first bought this, I sprayed some down in there, it's going to attract grit and whatnot. So all you really want to do is take, just a rag and kind of wipe it down freely. No chemicals need to be on it. Now, so I don't stink up the whole house, if I'm not using this, I keep the lid on it. Don't tighten it down, but just lid on it so the fumes don't go everywhere. But for our bolt, put a little Hoppe's 9 on it. Just go ahead and all surfaces, even the back here, but mainly the front is where you're going to have a lot of buildup. Really get in there pretty good. Because if you're going to have any failure to extract, not eject, but extract, usually you're just going to have a lot of crud in there, and that lip's not going to get a good purchase on the lip of the 22 mag, or 22 round, I'm sorry. The firing pin area. That's where this comes in handy over a cloth, where your cloth can't really get into those tight crevices. Go ahead and use this to scrape it free. Our pins, the only thing you want to do there is wipe them down. You don't want to get any solvents on them and make them lubricated in any means. You just want to get the grit off and that's it. What I do is I just go ahead and clean the feed ramps on them. That's about the only dirty part that you acquire. And when they start using them frequently, and I'd say maybe if you hit 1,000 rounds in one of these, that's about the time to disassemble and clean the internals. But for the most part, they're pretty solid and don't need much repair in the meantime. This is FP10 now that we're going to use, and I prefer this for any friction zones. So what I'm going to do is take a few drops, not too much to overdo it. Just kind of spread it across the spring here. Now we're going to rub that in where our rail meets. You can see there's wear marks. That's where I like to make sure I have some of this stuff on there. Again, not a whole lot's needed, just enough to kind of lubricate the important parts. Some clean little rag here, take some Ballistol, and we're just going to run this over kind of loosely all the surfaces. And the reason why I do this is mainly for a rust preventative. And again, just kind of any exposed metal, we're running it through here. And I'm going to put another drop of FP10 right where you can see there's a lot of friction marks. Alright, so that's it for cleaning the Ruger 1022. Check part 3, it's going to be right here, for how to reassemble your Ruger 1022. Tips and tricks that'll make it easy. This is the One Idea Head channel, so thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing plenty more gun reviews and whatnot, and plenty on the subject. So go ahead and click that subscribe button up there. You won't be disappointed. So thanks for watching, thanks for your time. This is One Idea Head. Peace. Signing out.